think we'll get started now. So, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name's Tom, and I'm a marketing executive for the University of Liverpool Online. I'm just going to give a brief overview of the webinar and introduce our speakers before I pass over to them to present today's slideshow. Just to note that if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, please do write them in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen, and we'll do our best to answer those at the end. So, introducing our speakers today, I'm joined by Dr. Vicky Bates, who is the Director of Studies at the University of Liverpool, Dr. Ranjit Kutan, who is Programme Director, and Ruth Lidgie, who is an Admissions Advisor. So, today we will be covering the Master of Public Health Programme, and then we'll move on to the admissions and enrolment process, and then, as I said before, we'll have a live Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So just a bit about the university. The University of Liverpool is a well-respected university. It's a founder member of the Russell Group, which is a group representing the top 24 universities in the UK, and has strengths in many areas, including health, computer science and management. The university has a significant number of international students, many of them online, and is associated with 9 Nobel laureates, and is ranked in the top 200 universities worldwide. We have been delivering online programs since the year 2000, and we were recently rated gold in the Times Higher Education online rankings for 2024. The online master's programs offered by the university are designed to work around you as a part-time postgraduate student, and also likely an international student, although we do have many UK-based students taking our courses too. You will have the opportunity to engage with materials in your own time through the virtual learning environment. There are some synchronous or live sessions, but they are usually not compulsory for you, although they are a good opportunity for you to engage with other students in those sessions. We have a strong student community and try to ensure that our online students have a good level of engagement with their fellow students and teaching staff. The course materials developed by staff are designed for the online environment, and our programs are much more than just a reading list. They are interactive and challenging. There is also a high level of support from academics and our student support team to ensure that students are successful in their studies. Students who successfully complete their studies graduate from the University of Liverpool and are awarded a Liverpool postgraduate degree certificate, just the same as students who take similar programs on campus. I'll now hand over to Vicky, who will talk about the programs we offer.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining the webinar today. So just to give you a bit of an overview of the course details, I'm sure you're already quite aware from reading on our website some of the details of the programme. But our public health programme has been designed for anyone who's been interested in progressing their career in public health. Our curriculum has been designed to cover recognised core competencies for public health professionals globally. During the course of your programme, you'll explore topics from health improvement, skills to allow you to critically evaluate public health evidence, public health policy, health systems design. You'll gain essential research skills in public health, and you might focus on topics such as communicable diseases, public health emergencies, and health economics. At the programme's core is health inequalities, and you'll be encouraged to consider health inequalities and how to tackle these across all of your modules. It's actually a really unique opportunity in our programme to collaborate with multidisciplinary public health professionals from across the globe and to discuss approaches to tackling public health priorities globally as well. And now I will hand you over to Ranjit.
Thanks, Vicky. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about the teaching methods. If we can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So I'm going to talk about the teaching methods. So my role is to deal with the program on a day-to-day basis with other colleagues. And one of the great things about online study, as you probably know, which is why you're here today, is that it allows you to study from a time and from a place wherever works for you. So anytime, any place, anywhere is one of the phrases we often use in online study. And that could be from home, in your lunch hour, if you're working, anywhere where you have an internet access. So it's really flexible in that way. As Vicky's mentioned, one of the key things is enabling you to connect with other people globally who are already studying the program as well. So we have a specially designed online learning platform, which allows you to access the resources day or night, and you can access the study materials whenever you wish. And the study materials consist of lecture casts, which are audio recordings. They have infographics, videos, animations. You have short tasks, and you have written content to go through. So it's quite a range of activities that will suit different learning styles. There's also a comprehensive library of ebooks and academic journals, and you have access to all of those during the program. And as I mentioned, and as Vicky's mentioned, you have forums where you can discuss the program content with your peers, get to know them, and also get to know the academic staff that are teaching you as well, because they contribute to these. There are some synchronous sessions, and as Tom mentioned at the outset, these are optional, but we provide those to enable you to meet the staff and get to understand the program and ask any questions. So it's quite interactive, as well as enabling you to access the material whenever you wish. One of the other things that I think is really strong about this program is a dedicated a student support team. So any issues that you have, there's options to chat to somebody in a live chat, and you can often get answers very quickly through that service. So yeah, the key thing is taught by experts in their field, and we have a range of activities that will help you to meet your learning goals. So Vicky and myself are going to go through these. These are the routes for the Master of Public Health. So first of all, Vicky, do you want to go through the general route?
Yep, sure. So for our general route, this is sort of suitable for people who've just got a broad interest in public health. They might not need to focus on anything specifically for their professional practice, or they might just want a really good overview of what public health is. So for this, you pick the general pathway, and then you'll select any of the optional modules that are available for you. So you'd pick 2 of our specialist optional modules for the general pathway, and you're not restricted to which ones you're able to choose for that pathway.
Sure.
Manjit, do you want to go through
Yeah,
the
I'll go through global mental
health
health one. Before I do, actually, you mentioned something that's quite interesting, and that is about the optional modules and the core. So we have core modules, optional modules, and the way the program is structured is really just guides them through the essential skills in public health. And so one of the things you'll notice in both of these is health inequalities, which is a key area of study in public health. So for the global mental health route, enables you to deepen your knowledge of key issues impacting global mental health issues. And that's quite an important topic that cuts across different areas of the globe. So that's quite an exciting route, I would say. Should we move on to the next ones?
So our international public health route is a truly sort of global focus. So for this route, you'll be exploring things such as public health policy and the challenges to developing policies for low-income countries, and how, again, health inequalities are tackled within those regions, and how policy should be developed to lessen the gap in inequalities in healthcare and health access. And Ranjit, I'm sure, will give you some details about the management of health systems route.
Thank you, Vicky. Yeah, so I mean, there are key areas in public health, and management and leadership is one of them. One of the key principles in public health delivery. So this is quite an exciting route for those people who are interested in looking at governmental market healthcare activities, the behaviour of consumers and organisations in those healthcare markets as well. So one of the things that we look at in this, you'll take optional modules that will enable you to look at economic evaluation, leadership strategies to enhance public health provision. So yeah, so it's really quite exciting that you can take these different routes. Is there anything you wanted to add, Vicky? I think we'll move on.
No, it's just there's no rush to choose which route you want to take when you join a program. If you're not sure when you start the program what direction you want to go, what you want to focus on, that's fine. you have time within the programme before you need to choose what your specialist modules will be. So you don't need to decide at enrolment, you can decide once you've enrolled onto the programme and taken a couple of modules.
Hi everyone. So as Tom mentioned before, I'm one of the admissions advisors for our online programs. So I'm just going to be going through the admissions process and the steps required from when you first make an inquiry to submitting an application and then going on to enroll onto a program. So once you're ready to submit an application, you can do this directly on our website. The link's on this slide here, or we do have it on each program page as well. And then once you're submitting the application, you'll be asked to provide the following supporting documentation. So we'd need an official form of photo ID, like your driver's license or passport. We'd need an up-to-date copy of your CV, and then copies of your degree certificates, which would need to be translated into English if they're not already. And then we'd need a supporting statement, so a personal statement just to support your application, about your interest in the programme, your previous experience and where you're hoping to go with it afterwards. And then for international applicants, we'll also need some evidence of English language proficiency. So if you have already completed an IELTS in the last 2 years, you'd need a 6.5 or above score overall and 7 in reading and writing. Or we can accept the TOEFL equivalent. But if you don't have either of these, then we do have our own free online English test that we can set you up to complete called KTE. So we could just set that up as an alternative once you've submitted an application with us. And then the next slide, please. So the admissions process usually begins when you submit an inquiry about the programme that you're interested in. And once you've submitted the inquiry, you'll be assigned a dedicated admissions advisor like myself. And we'd be just there to answer any questions you had about the programme and just make sure that you're happy before submitting an application. And then, like I mentioned, you can apply just directly on our website. It's completely free to apply. So it's quite a sort of 10-minute process to submit the application form, and then you'd just be asked to submit the documents on that application form. And then once we've received your application and just confirmed that we have all the documents needed, that would be reviewed by our admissions team, and then it would go to the Director of Study for review. And it can take up to 10 working days to receive the outcome of that, but we try and get back to you as soon as possible. And then you'd be notified of the outcome by your admissions advisor. So if it's successful, then we'd let you know and send an offer letter with a payment plan and a study plan for the programme. And then once you've received the offer letter, you would have 14 days to accept your offer. And then you just need to make a deposit payment to secure your place on the programme. So here you can see our tuition fees for this current academic year. So the fees do vary depending on which award you're applying for. So if you are applying for the postgraduate certificate, which is the PG Cert, and is worth 65 credits, that would last for 10 months and is £5,623. If you're applying for the postgraduate diploma, which is the PG Dip, that's 120 credits and it would last for 20 months and is £11,246. And then if you're going for the full Master of Public Health programme, that's 180 credits. It lasts for 30 months and is 16,800, £16,868. And for all of these, you can pay in monthly instalments. So it'd just be split across the duration of the programme, just in even instalments. So we do have a number of different scholarships available. So currently we've got a 15% executive scholarship available for the full MPH award, and that's for our April and July intakes. And then we also have a 20% scholarship available for students living in the UK. And we also have regional scholarships of up to 20%. So I'm so sorry, excuse me. Available for our April and July intakes also. If you decided to pay the full fee up front, you would also get a 5% discount on the total. Or if you are an alumni, as you've previously studied with us, you could get a 10% discount on the tuition fees as well. So we do have an intake coming up fairly soon on the 8th of April. It is still possible to apply for this intake. We'd recommend getting an application in as soon as possible. So the final enrolment deadline is next Thursday, the 3rd of April. So just get in touch with the admissions team as soon as possible if you think you'd be interested in starting in that date. If that's a bit too early, we do have intakes starting on the 8th of July and the 7th of October as well. So you can apply for either of those intakes also on our website at the moment. So if you do have any questions at all, feel free to contact our admissions team. You can get in touch on this link here, and you can either contact us by live chat. We have a WhatsApp chat service. You can give us a call, or you can just submit an inquiry on the website. Or if you're ready to apply, you can submit an application form on the website there.
Thank you, Ruth, and thank you, Vicky and Ranjit, as well, for taking the time to speak today. We do hope that that was an informative presentation. Sorry, I completely lost the word there. Presentation, and that you came away with a better idea of how studying with the University of Liverpool would go and how it would be studying the Master of Public Health as well. We do have some time for questions, so if you do have any, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A section. We have had some already, so I will get started. So I suppose I'll probably come to you. Actually, I'll leave this kind of open because I think anyone could answer this, but what kind of support does a student receive? I know I kind of touched on it in the introduction, but a bit more information. I think they're looking for a bit more information on what kind of support a student receives throughout the studies.
Shall I start? And then people can jump in. So one of the things about online study, it can feel quite lonely. So what the University of Liverpool have put in place is quite a lot of support. So what we do is, as a program director, I will be in touch with the lecturers on a weekly basis, but the lecturers are engaging with you in that module quite frequently. And you also have student support services. So if you have any issues, you can get in touch with them. As I mentioned, there's a link on the VLE for you to get in touch with them. We have program coordinators as well. So if you have any issues or queries related to academic content, you can contact them. It gets copied into myself as well, and we'll respond to those. So you're not left alone. You know, you are supported. There's a number of people around you who will support you with any queries you have, either if it's about the academic content or if it's about your program of study.
Oh, that was great. Thank you, Ranjit. Next question is, are there different entry routes? So I suppose that would mean academic or kind of work experience. What is that like for enrolling on the course?
Should I answer to this?
That'd be great.
So we have an academic entry route where you have a degree in a relevant subject and some professional experience in public health alongside that degree. But we also have a work experience only route for those who don't have a degree or don't have a degree in a public health related subject. And for this, we're looking for people with experience working in a public health or public health related environment. And they're assessed on a case-by-case basis. So if you don't feel like you meet the requirements, you've got some public health experience, I would really encourage you to apply. Because just because you don't have a degree doesn't mean you can't do our MPH. We really encourage a broad range of students. Once you enrol in our programme and you get to meet your classmates, you will realise the diverse student population that we have. So I really strongly, if you think you might have you might be able to join a programme, even if it's just from a work experience point of view, I would encourage you to apply. As I say, judged on a case-by-case basis. So all applications would be considered.
Perfect. Thank you, Vicky. I had a question regarding graduation, which I can answer. So someone's asked, will they have a graduation once they've completed their studies? And we do host a graduation ceremony on campus at the University of Liverpool, which all online students are invited to. So if you can attend that, then that's great. I've been a few times. It's a really nice day. You know, it's good to meet people that you've been interacting with online in person, and getting to meet kind of the people that you've been studying with and everything as well. So yeah, there is a graduation ceremony, and it's a really good day as well. Now, moving on to you, Ruth, I think you may have covered this in the presentation, but someone's asked, can they spread the fee of the course, suppose, as opposed to paying it all off at once?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can pay by a monthly payment plan. So the instalments would just be split equally across the months, so the 30-month duration if you're doing the full MPH. And if you were, when you receive your offer letter for the deposit payment, it would just be 1 monthly instalment that's required, and that just counts as your first monthly payment. So it's not an additional cost, it's just all part of the instalment plan.
Okay, perfect. I had a question here for you, Vicky and Ranjit. So someone's asked, how is the grading of the essays at the end of a module done? So I suppose that's kind of asking about the assessment of the work that they've done.
Vicky, do you want to talk about the assessment types, and I'll talk about the process?
Yeah,
of marking?
so there's no exams in our programme. It's all coursework and collaborative activities. So throughout the course of a module, which varies from around they work in 2-week units. So depending on the credits, sets the length of the module basically. So each module is laid out the same in 2 weekly units, and at the end of each 2 weeks, you'll have assessment points. So that'll be a short individual assignment and a collaborative activity. And then at the end of the module, you'll do an end of module project, which will consolidate your learning across the whole module. And the assessments that we set are all authentic. So you'll be tackling real world public health problems through your assignments. And you'll have the opportunity to apply your own professional experience to the assignments as well, which we really strongly encourage you to do. So it's a mix of individual assignments and collaborative discussion, group work-based projects.
Just add as well that slightly different to other programs in the sense that you don't have one big assignment at the end. So, and I've worked on 4 other online MPH programs, and I think one of the great things about this is that little and often approach. So they're small bite-sized pieces of work that help you develop your skills, and you get feedback early on. So you can use that feedback to build on your next assignment, which I think really does help students, and we see that in their development. In terms of the marking as well, I just wanted to say something about that, because the lecturer marks the work. We have a moderator that looks at that marking as well, just in terms of the quality assurance process. And then we have people from the University of Liverpool. So Vicky, you monitor the modules and you check that that's all been done thoroughly, and it's being done in a correct way. So it's a really supportive process in terms of the marking, the feedback, and helping you develop your skills throughout the module and the program overall.
Perfect. Thank you both. That was a really helpful answer. Still got a few minutes left for some more questions. Someone has asked, I'll come to you, Ruth, with this. Is it possible to take a study break?
Yeah, definitely. So it is possible to apply for a study break with our student support team. Anything up to 12 weeks is considered an informal break. So if you were doing the full Master of Public Health, the maximum period you could study that in is 6 years if you did take breaks between modules. And I should mention it's only possible to take breaks between modules. So it wouldn't be possible once you've already started a module to take a break then. But yeah, it's definitely possible to arrange.
Perfect. Thank you. Coming back to you, Vicky and Ranjit, someone's asking for kind of more information on how, as an online student, they would interact with their fellow students.
Vicky, do you want to go ahead, because you mentioned the group, the collaborative activities?
Yes, so our programme is quite unique in that we have collaborative assignments throughout each module. In these collaborative assignments, you'll be placed usually in small groups of around 4 students. And you'll be from all diverse backgrounds, and you'll be encouraged during these assignments to really bring your public health experience to tackle the question that the assignment asks of you. So there's plenty of opportunity throughout the programme to collaborate with your peers, collaborate with lecturers with expertise in the topics, discuss research areas. So it really is, although it's asynchronous and it's online, it's very collaborative. And you do get to engage your peers very frequently, so it doesn't feel as lonely as simply studying on your own.
Yeah, and if I just add, I mean, I was looking at a module this morning and looking at the sort of contributions from students all over the globe. And I think that's one of the exciting things about those discussion forums, that people are sharing things that they're currently doing or they're aware of in their home countries. And, other people are sort of reflecting on those, and the lecturer is inputting their view, in that discussion. So it's actually quite a rich discussion. And as Vicky's already mentioned, that authentic assessment, it's what would happen in public health. You'd have those discussions and share that learning. So I think that's one of the key strengths in this program.
Perfect. Thank you both. That is all we've got time for today. Thank you again to Vicky, Ranjit and Ruth for taking the time to speak to you all today. And thank you also to everyone who's joined. This webinar has been recorded, and you can expect to receive the recording of the webinar next week if you'd like to watch it back. Furthermore, if you are interested in applying, then please visit our website, which is online.liverpool.ac.uk, where you can apply there. And if you would like to speak to an admissions advisor, you can get in touch with them through the contact page on our website as well. Thank you again for joining, and hopefully we'll see you studying with us soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.